This is a new Einstein's documentary. The ship is coming. Something headed our way. They told us space was empty. A vast dark sea of lonely stars. We mapped galaxies, cataloged comets, and listened for signals. We believed we were alone, or at least safe. But what if that silence was only waiting for the right moment? What if something enormous, intelligent, deliberate, is now on a course for us? Part I. The strange objects that wake questions in 2017. Astronomers pointed their telescopes at an object that didn't belong. It tumbled past the sun on a hyperbolic path and vanished into the dark, carrying a name that would haunt the internet. Oumuamua. A messenger from afar. Scientists argued about its nature for years. Was it a comet, an asteroid, or something else entirely? A probe, a sail, a manufactured fragment. Then came more anomalies, strange radio bursts. Fast, furious, cold FRBs emanating from distant galaxies, pulses that obeyed no known pattern. Tabby's star flickered in ways unlike normal stars, dimming inexplicably for months, and the catalog of odd objects kept growing. Interstellar comets with odd chemistry, odd accelerations, trajectories that defied simple gravitational explanation. Together they begin to look like a map, a breadcrumb trail pointing to something beyond chance. To some scientists, these are random curiosities. To others, a small but growing minority. They are the first tremors of contact. Part 2. The radar gap. Military sightings and redacted logs if a ship were heading our way. Who would notice first? Not public observatories, a surprising number of conspiracy researchers say, but military radar arrays. These systems watch the skies for hostile missiles, debris, and unidentified entries. Over the past decades, a trickle of reports surfaced. Unexplained radar tracks, blips that accelerated, vanished, then reappeared. The official transcripts were short, then redacted. Whistleblowers, former technicians, and low-level officers told hushed stories of flights watered down in official logs. They say they saw objects decelerate against the vacuum, perform impossible maneuvers, and align with trajectories that later matched astronomical detections. Like a dark collaboration between telescopes and blacked-out defense logs. How much of this is misinterpreted equipment error? How much is secrecy and bureaucracy? And how much is something else? A deliberate cover, an effort to keep the public calm, while governments study trajectories and prepare. Part 3? The leaked trajectories then. The leak? A small set of trajectory files, allegedly from an observatory consortium, circulated on hard 2-track forums. The data, if genuine, showed a long-period object entering the inner solar system on a shallow, inbound approach. Not like a comet falling in from the UART cloud, but like a ship threading a precise corridor. Analysts who examined the files, independent astronomers working outside government channels, said the path suggested course corrections. Tiny nudges that extrapolated forward, placed a single, unmistakable point of interest. A projected close approach to Earth in the coming decades. Official spokespeople called the leak fabricated data, a hoax meant to frighten. But for many, the damage was done. The idea of a ship, not a rock, heading for us had taken root. And once the seed of that idea is planted, confirmation bias proves an eager gardener. Part 4. Why a ship would come. Possible motives. If an object were indeed intelligent and moving toward Earth, what would be its reason? Contact, observation, resource extraction. A salvaje mission. The motives we imagine reflect our fears. Invasion, colonization, or cold, clinical study. But intelligence, even alien intelligence, need not share our malevolent impulses. Some conspiracy framings suggest the ship is a relic, an automated ark launched by a dying civilization. It follows programmed instructions to seek suitable biospheres. Others propose a policing force, a cosmic monitor that patrols young worlds. A darker theory claims the ship is a harvester, assessing celestial bodies for valuable isotopes or resources. All of these possibilities are terrifying, and all of them are speculative. But if we are to plan, we must consider them, because planning is the difference between reaction and preparation. How are scientists reacting? The mainstream response remains methodical and cautious. Institutions point at alternative explanations: gravitational perturbations, non-gravitational outgassing, observational bias. SETIgroupsencourage.com. Look for radio signatures, coordinate observations, share data. But beneath the official calm, the infrastructure is gearing up. International telescope networks have increased monitoring of interstellar visitors. Particle physicists modeled possible material compositions. Space agencies quietly ran hypothetical scenarios for decades. Contingency plans buried in technical reports and cold, bureaucratic language. And yes, there are classified programs. Programs with budgets and black box capabilities rarely discussed in the open. Those who have worked on them speak of simulations. What if runs that test interception, deflection, and even communication? If a ship were truly closing, the transition from simulation to action would be swift and secretive. Oumuamua's unexpected acceleration. Some argued it behaved like a solar sail, catching photons and changing speed without visible out. Interstellar comet Borisov's chemistry. Unusual ratios that hinted at non-solar system origins, FRBs, and narrowband radio signals. Tantalizing, unexplained bursts that some claim could be engineered. The radar blips and redacted military logs. Fragments of a pattern watched but not explained. Separately, each is ambiguous. Together, they create a pattern that some called a signal of approach, a chorus that whispers. Something is near, watching, and in motion. In any major story of secrecy, leaks appear. Anonymous posts, documents uploaded to paste sites, videos of meetings recorded on shaky phones. In the internet age, secrecy is porous. Some leaks are genuine, some are misdirection, some are disinformation intended to manipulate public opinion and test reactions. Which is which? It's impossible to know without full transparency. Something governments rarely offer. What we can say is this: the information war is real. For every credible scientist urging caution, there is a sensationalist site spinning stories into panic. For every official denial, there is a news source claiming to know the truth. The result? A fractured public, where truth hides behind both secrecy and noise. Let's assume, for argument's sake, the ship is real and its arrival is imminent. What might happen? 1. Observation and non-contact. The object passes through the inner system, scans, and departs, leaving humanity with questions and new science. 2. Passive probe activation. It deploys instruments, studies Earth, and sends data to a distant home, a slow revelation. We learn we were observed. 3. Active contact. The ship tries to communicate. Our signals, frequencies, and language may or may not work. The results could range from peaceful exchange to dangerous misinterpretation. 4. Resource extraction. Hostile action. In the worst scenario, the ship harvests or alters local space, possibly damaging satellites, electric grids, or ecosystems. Military response could provoke escalation, which is most likely, no one can say. But what is clear is our current defenses are ill-prepared for a truly intelligent actor. One with unearthly motives and technology beyond our designs. If a ship approaches, how should leaders act? With panic, with secrecy, or with calm openness? The answer reveals our humanity. Secrecy breeds fear. Transparency breeds chaos when unprepared. Diplomacy requires trust, and trust is fragile. Some argue for rapid disclosure and global coordination. Mass public briefings, open data, international scientific councils. Others, representing state security, argue for controlled messaging and classified evaluations. Both positions have merit and risks. The balance between them will decide whether we greet the new arrival with wonder or suspicion. There is a story told quietly on fringe forums. A night shift observer at a remote array saw a track, a slow, deliberate line across the sky, and logged it as a simple object. Weeks later, that line matched a leaked trajectory. He spoke out and was pulled into interviews, then vanished from public view. Was he silenced, discredited, or simply overwhelmed by what he had witnessed? We may never know. But the greatest lesson this tale gives us is a simple one. When enough anomalies gather, we must look honestly and not hide from the possibility that we are not the only watchers in the dark. Is the ship coming? We have ecluse whispers. We have leaks and shadows, and we have a sky that refuses to be silent. Whether this story ends in contact or becomes another conspiracy that time will misplace, one truth remains. The universe is changing, and with it our place within it. If you want the next episode, where we analyze the leaked trajectory, examine whistleblower testimonies, and attempt to decode what the ship might want, subscribe, share, and join our community. Because when the sky stops being quiet, you'll want to be watching. Episode 2. The Trajectory Files. What the data hides. React, share, replay.